All right, how's it going, everybody? Tonight we're going to do story time at the park, and I have a pretty funny story to tell. So I like to keep this channel kind of a lot of, on one side, let's say intellectual, and then on the other side, I like to do a lot of just fun humor and stories and stuff like that. So that's what tonight's going to be. Anyway, basically, I'm going to tell you the story of the time I got super drunk, went down to Atlantic City with a couple of my friends, got super wasted, ended up basically losing all my stuff, getting kicked out of the club, and then ended up at this whorehouse with like 10 prostitutes. So there we go. It's a funny story. I got tons of these stories. I used to be super wild. I don't do any nefarious things anymore. That's not true. I don't do any drugs or alcohol anymore, but my life is actually way better without it. You get into way better kind of stories. Anyway, I'm going to raise this up just because I'm kneeling down. I'm trying to, my knees are like kind of giving out, so I'm just going to like straddle it right here, and that'll be good. So how the night started was, first I popped an Adderall before we even went on the drive down there. So I popped the Adderall at probably 10 o'clock at night. So I'm raring to go. Again, don't do any of this anymore. Don't recommend it, but I'm just telling you my experience and my story. So I popped the Adderall at 10. I knew I was going to be up all night. We drive down to AC from where we're at in central New Jersey. It's about an hour and a half drive. Second we get down there, the three of us start pounding an entire liter of whiskey. And we probably, we go up to the hotel room, check in, go up to the hotel room, whip out the bottle of whiskey, pound that down in probably about 20 minutes, just shot. So I'm already feeling really nice. Go downstairs to the club, because I think it was O'Hare's Casino. There's a club down in the basement, and it's pretty fun. It's a pretty upscale, fun club. So, we went down there, continuing to drink, vibing out, dancing around, having fun, meeting with people. I'm getting super drunk at this point, ready to go. Anyone that's ever done stimulants and drank knows that you have basically like a bottomless pit where you don't run out of energy. Like when most people are tapping out, you're like just getting started. So it's a super dangerous combo. Anyway, that's going on. I'm in there. I'm getting drunker and drunker. And for some reason, I get pissed off at the bartender. I guess it was like I can't remember, honestly, but I was mad for some reason. And so what I did, I thought he was taking too long, so I reached over the bar and grabbed the bottle from him. Terrible idea. Second that happened, I was like swarmed by 3 bouncers. They basically were like, yeah, you got to go. And they bounced me out of the club. I'm drunk as hell. I've never been in this casino hotel before in my life. And all my friends are back down at the club. And I think one of them tried to follow me out. And I was like, oh, it's all good. I was super mad. So what I ended up happening is I just went outside, hailed down a taxi, a cab, got in, and I was just take me to where the girls are at. That's what I remember saying. Again, I'm so drunk at this point. So I end up at this dumpy ass Asian massage parlor. And I just remember being drunk as hell and then being pretty much which girl do you want? There was 3 or 4 girls that came out from this back room, and I was just that one, and then they just took me to a room, and I just ended up just fucking the girl. And I don't remember. I think I had several $100s in my wallet when I got out of there. I hadn't had any money when I left that place. The sun was coming up, so I don't even remember how long I was there. I don't even think anyone there even spoke English, and that was an interesting experience. So I somehow managed to get, I guess I took another taxi then back to the hotel. Anyone who's ever been to Atlantic City, it's crappy. So where this massage parlor was at was just in the hood. It's just super dumpy. You basically have the small little area where all the casinos are at, and then the rest of it's just the hood. So I was in the hood and got a taxi out of there back to the casino. Have no idea. Now it's probably 9-10 o'clock in the morning. It's starting to the sun's fully up and everything, and yeah, so I don't know how to meet with my friends or anything. I think at this point my cell phone is dead too. So I'm going up to the front desk. I'm so drunk still, and I'm creating a scene, basically asking the front desk attendant where are my friends. I don't even remember what room number it's in or anything like that. So eventually this dude was pretty cool. I started talking with him as I'm outside. I also was smoking cigarettes at the time. So I'm outside and I meet him and he's like, yeah, dude, like if you want, you can just, come up to my room. You can charge your phone, chill out. I got some, food and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, that sounds pretty good. So I go up there, charge my phone, chilling there, just, basically drinking a little bit more. And then we end up going back to another bar. And this is at 12 in the afternoon. And so I haven't slept yet. I've gone through the entire night, through now half the day, start drinking again at this pool bar. I can't remember the names of these casinos, but there's this big ass indoor dome and there's a whole beach pool bar around it. So we're drinking there and I started getting in fights with that bartender and I get bounced out of the pool again. And again, haven't slept, have probably had 30 or 40 drinks at this point in the last 14 hours or whatever. And yeah, I don't even remember the rest of the story at that point. All I remember is that then I found this little hot dog stand outside and I just ate 5 hot dogs. And then eventually hours after that of me wandering around the casino, I remember playing a couple slot machines or something. I don't know. Eventually I just happened to stumble into my friends and then that was it. So I don't think I really articulated that story too well, but I thought it was an interesting story. This is probably when I'm 21, I want to say. So, okay, but let's go to a little bit of a moral. I don't recommend doing all these things. What I always tell people is I just telling these to kind of be funny and show you that I used to be just as a story. But in all reality, while that sounds like a super fun and crazy story, I guess looking back on it, it kind of was, but at the same time, it was awful as it was transpiring. And what I can say is, once you are completely clean and you really are present and you enjoy life, the experiences that you have will be like that on the intensity scale. They're not going to be like that on the nefarious scale necessarily, although sexually you can have them be there. But as far as the drugs and stuff like that, it's not going to be like that. But you don't want it to be like that because the intensity is going to be just as good, but it's going to be this really grounded and clean intensity, and you're really going to be able to appreciate it. Whereas there, in this case of this story, I'm looking back man, I'm happy that I survived, or I'm happy that I made it out of that to tell that story. Whereas with, being really present, grounded, and clean, not having to rely on the drugs and alcohol, you can really appreciate it and really empower other people to have amazing stories while you're having them. Whereas on this side, when you're doing all the alcohol and stuff, it's just me. And yeah, the people around you who are drunk, they might have fun too. But when you're really present and sober, you can have a lot of those experiences that you love, but you're also empowering a lot of other people. So take it what you will. Not saying that there's never a time and a place when you're younger to get that out of your system. I think there is some validation to getting that out of your system when you are 20 or 21. A lot of times that's why when people go to college, it's get that out of your system. Because what I'll see a lot is people that go through their early 20s and they don't get that stuff out of the way. This is just a general statement. It's not the same for everyone, but a lot of people, if they don't get that out of the way, then later on, when maybe they're in their mid-20s or late 20s or 30s or later even, will be well, I never experienced that part of my life. So then, and it actually ends up becoming way worse at that point, because it's all good and fun when you're that age, when you're 19, 20, 21, but it's just depressing when you're 50 and you're doing that. So some food for thought. Hope you enjoy the AC story, and I got many more to come. So talk to you guys soon.